Good morning. Thank you guys for having me. I liked her energy, so hopefully all y'all can have that this morning. My name is Dalton Smith. I am the founder of MPI Productions. We are a production agency, but we are far from normal. We do a lot, more than I have time to explain this morning. And as you heard, our story is not exactly standard, and I'm gonna have to condense that timeline for you. I'm a high school dropout. I tried to go to school here. I did the EMT program, or tried to, and immediately was like, this isn't for me. My dad was a firefighter, and I remember coming here for a class, and I did like a video class, and I just remember feeling like I was in the right direction, but it still wasn't it. I got in a lot of trouble when I was in high school, a lot. Like I barely made it out. And it's fun, it's cute, it's cool, I can tell you some stories, but it almost ruined my life. Like I actually almost lost the opportunity to be here. So I'm gonna skip a lot of the stuff I usually jump into, but I want you guys to understand everything I say today, everything you hear. Keep in mind that I took the wrong route. I went to jail, I had drug issues, I had mental health issues, my whole life, yet here I am. So everything I say isn't just because, oh, I'm me and I did it. It's because that you can do it regardless of the obstacles. So my goal today is to hopefully answer your questions at the end. I would love to actually answer some real life questions you guys have about business. But what I want to do first is show you guys a quick little video. Community Credit Union does a 3-2-1 launch day. It's in 2 weeks. This is my video for last year. And it's cool. They asked me to make it and give some people some backstory. So this is just a short little promo. My name is Dalton Smith, and this is the world of NPI Productions. I am the founder and CEO of NPI based here in Satellite Beach, Florida. Over the last 10 years, we've gone from a filmmaker with a dream to one of the largest and fastest growing production companies in Central Florida, creating content for companies like Visit Florida, Red Bull, Disney, Universal Studios, and everything in between. The biggest financial lesson that I've learned over the last 10 years is to make decisions that you need to make. A lot of people buy before they need to buy. I grew this company using what I had, and then I bought stuff as we were ready. What's next for MPI Productions is growth. We are scaling right now from this local business to a worldwide brand, and we are so excited for people to see what we have in store. All right, so there's a little backstory on the crew. So trust the process. How that ties together with all this is, starting a business, pitching business ideas, life. It's not gonna go the way you want it to. I'm just telling you, it is a process. And when you get hung up on the results right away, it's gonna deflect from you getting it done. So when you guys start this journey, trust me, quantity over quality. Get hustling, pitch ideas, get into the field. I went to YouTube University. So every time I didn't know something, I went on YouTube and I learned it. Every time, I remember this guy, it was 2013, just blasted me on what used to be a forum for surfing and told me how much I suck. He'd see me at the beach. My tripod, I had to use pliers to get it open. He could see the highlight roll off because I was shooting in automatic settings and not manual. And I remember I was like, yo, I'm done. Like, what's even the point? Well, I took all my money and I bought a tripod and I spent like a week on YouTube. And then the next week, the guy's comment was, oh, your title of the video is lame. And I was like, well, that's all he's got now. The guy helped me. Like he literally smeared me into growing. And so I just want to encourage you guys to just start, whatever it is that you want to do. So the importance of a dream. For me, that's why I'm here. This was my dream. Now, I told you guys I had trouble starting. I didn't just wake up and say I want to be a filmmaker. So what happened is when I was like 20 and I got a GoPro, I don't know what happened, but it just flipped this switch in my brain. And I just started having so much fun with storytelling. I was going out and partying and bringing my GoPro and having fun with it. I was going to the beach and surfing and bringing my GoPro and having fun with it. And I just saw on YouTube, like it was bigger than just what we were doing. People like to follow the story, the excitement. So then I met a surfer named Corey Howell and I started selling photos to Ron Johns. The first one I sold was just pure luck. And then I pitched a trip to Puerto Rico. And I remember I went with Corey to Surf Expo, like 2013, 14, and this kid's like 16, 17 years old, and he's like the man. He's like the mayor. And I'm just like observing how he knows everybody, and all these stickers on his boards, they're not just stickers, those are business relationships. He is an entrepreneur in his own way. So it's like, I want that. So I was like the only filmmaker who had sponsors. I had like 20 sponsors. And the reason was because I was hustling. All these other people are focused on their day rate. I was getting my day rate. So example, I needed 10 grand. I wanted to go do this adventure series. No one was gonna give me a $10,000 check. I lived in my mom's guest bedroom and had a GoPro. But I bet you I could get like 20 people to give me $500. So that's what I did. I went and broke it down and said, let me just double dip. I'll be the filmmaking guy, I'll be the athlete, I'll be the talent. It wasn't because I was the best production guy on the planet. It was because of all the hustling, and people could feel it. It was tangible. To this day, I always say, there are people that make better work than I do. And I don't even want to say better, but there are plenty of production companies that can buy equipment, go to training, and make content. It's the why. And that, for me, is why your business stands out or doesn't. You know what I mean? I am at an interesting point in my career because I've actually just accepted there is no competition. Like all these other people doing what I'm doing, there's so much opportunity out here. It's about being unique. So instead of me worried about whoever's doing what, all I know is that what we're doing is working, and it's different and it's weird. And for years I questioned it. We just hired a marketing agency. Get this. I just hired a marketing agency last week for the first time ever for my whole company, ever. I've never spent any money. The only money I've ever spent is boosting Facebook ads. Like literally, I think we've spent like $3,000 in 10 years, guys. Like it's all organic. So I said, well, what do I want next? I said, I want to grow. I want to scale. I want to build a bigger team. So now I'm leaning in and doing, traditional marketing and stuff. But the point is that I didn't build the company the right way. I just did and did and did and grew. And I'm proud to say that not only am I doing well, my team's doing well. And it was, again, from this kid that was like a Vera High dropout that just couldn't get his life together. Yet I got it rolling. And now I'm the mayor in my town as far as like my little MPI gang where we get to live the life we want every single day and we get to call the shots. So there's a lot of value to starting your own business. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, I don't want to say downfalls, but I call it opportunity cost. Everything you do in this life has a cost. I have a 6-month-old child. I'm now learning that life definitely gets trickier. It gets better, but it gets more complicated. So you have to discipline yourself in ways that I didn't even know I was capable of. But once you realize you have it, you lose this mentality of, oh, when I get the degree or when I get to this point, trust me, take the training, do what you guys are doing right now. But don't wait to go hit the streets today. Get out there today. Like the business ideas you're pitching, who's to say you can't actually go pitch that? And one of my big things is losing the fear of the word no. There's just like this big emotional connection of being told no. And I got to the point where I just don't care. You know what I mean? And it's helped me focus on what I love and growing my business without like that emotional response of like, oh, someone said no to me. Turning like your dream into a job is a tricky subject. I would imagine everybody wants to make some money, yeah? I would hope so. And I would want that for you guys. And what's really ironic in my world, until I've started speaking about it, I think people think like the money fairy just like stops at my house and just takes care of me and my family. Like people don't think I have a job because it looks so fun. But I'm very proud to say that I have done a ton of investing in a lot of ways to not just make money, but make wealth. Make money that's gonna make money for itself. And so I encourage you guys, implore you guys, look into not just how you can make money, but where can you put it? How can you make it work for you? And, making like let's say you're in school right now and you wanna be me, you wanna be a filmmaker, or you wanna go be a rapper like my buddy Adam J or whatever. I do believe it takes time. And when people just jump in, like, oh, I'm 35 years old, I work at Publix, I quit. Tell your boss to kick rocks, you walk out and you want to start a business today. That might be a jarring journey. I encourage that you hustle now while you're young. The pressure is there, but the pressure is going to increase. So while you guys are young, go right now. Get as much experience, buy stuff, get the equipment you need for whatever you want to get after. Because truly, if you can get more set up now, it's just going to set you up for success later. If I had to do what I'm doing, what I did 10 years ago, now as like a 32-year-old, for sure, it would be way harder. I got a mortgage now. I got a kid now. Like, there's a lot of factors that play into life, and none of them DQ you either. Like, I know a bunch of people like, no, I can't. Like, I've got kids, I can't. It's like, well, yes, you can. And that's where you have to like ask yourself, what do you want in your life? So for me, I'm a split dude. I want to be successful. I want to make money. I want to take care of my family. I don't want to work forever, dude. I want to set myself up so I can have control of my life. But it is equally important that I love and enjoy my life. So just yesterday, I spoke on how if I was forced, if I had to make a choice today to change my lifestyle and not be in control and not be able to do what I do, I'd sell that shiny truck. I'd move into a smaller home. I'd stop going to Starbucks. I'd do whatever I need to do to keep the happiness in my life. So do keep that in mind. You can have it all, but seriously, I know so many engineers that hate their life. I'm just telling you that right now. And I say that with love. And I'm not saying don't be an engineer, because I know people that are engineers that love their life and think I am absolutely nuts. Like, my mom worked for the IRS for 30 years, right? Government job. She was raised by her father, who literally told our family, get a government job. It's good for you. It's secure. There's good pay. There's benefits. All those are facts. But there's other paths that you can take. So I have friends that are engineers. They've made their bag. They've done it for 5-6 years. Now they want out. There's nothing wrong with that. It's never too late. So if you're working a job, it doesn't have to be your forever job, but start hustling. Plant those seeds. I always think about like whiskey in a barrel. Like, who's got 20 years to wait for that? Well, they did it a long time ago. That's the point. If you work now and plant these seeds and you just keep moving, one day you're going to turn around and be like, holy, I planted that. And that's how I feel. I turn around sometimes and stuff that I planted 5 years ago, I forgot about. And that work I did then, now I'm getting the rewards for it. So truly, it's up to you individually. If you want a reward system that's going to happen today, you might not get it. And like I said, I don't plan on diving deep into the mental health side, but just for what it's worth, y'all lose the mentality that you can't feel a certain way or say a certain thing because you might not be able to do something. Like, literally, I am living proof of that, because everything I did goes against the book. Everything. Yet, here I am right now giving the speech. This speech wouldn't exist if I didn't make those mistakes. So just do keep that in mind. You guys are not DQ'd because of who you are, where you're from, or what you've been through. When it comes to school, it's funny because I'm speaking out of school. But again, just start to focus on what makes you happy and keep getting your daily tasks done. So if you're in school, do your schoolwork, but then just really think about what other crafts you want to learn and put that time in. Because everything that I've got going right now, so smallest giant story ever, ESPN calls my phone last year. And I answer the phone, and it literally, I don't even know how it popped up. It said ESPN. I answer, and it's this woman. She says, hey, she's like, I'm a producer for ESPN. I want to fly you to Las Vegas. I've got a camera, and I want you. I'm like, okay. I literally thought it was fake. So I was like, can you send me an email with what you're talking about? Because why am I qualified? I know nothing about broadcast. So the story goes that she found me on Facebook because I did a live stream in 2017 when we got smoked by all the hurricanes. So I went to go just look at my house and do Florida stuff and go surfing behind my car. But then I did this live stream and everybody started watching, and it went from 100 people to 1,000 people to 10,000 people to 20,000 people. 7 million people watched it that day. A massive percentage of them. Mind you, I was live for 10 hours. So it wasn't just like, hey guys, weather, I'm a bro. So there was all kinds of bro sauce and just funny personality happening all day long. And these people just were like, man, these guys are funny. So they stuck around. 2017 was a while ago, guys. This woman remembered me, okay? So they've got this camera called the Shark camera, and it's a Sony Alpha. It's literally it's this camera right here. It's a Sony a7S III. And these people, you've seen TV and football games, they got the giant broadcast rigs. It doesn't matter if that rig is bigger and more complex. They don't know what that is. So me and JD fly out to Las Vegas for the Lomachenko-Haney fight. Like, I don't even know what that means at the time. I just know surfers. Come to find out, it's like one of the biggest fights. And we crushed it. We just found out last week that the new upgrades that we did to this camera have been there for a year now. We've got directors from other packages, soccer and football, calling our director like, yo, what are you doing to that camera? It's sick. And it's because of me and JD. Guys, that had nothing to do with the plan. I didn't wake up and say I want to work for ESPN. I didn't wake up and say I want to do boxing. I didn't wake up and say, oh, if I post this YouTube video or this Facebook Live, 7 years later, I'm going to get an opportunity. But that's exactly how it happened. And I got, that story is a dime a dozen. I could tell you guys 100 stories right now about how some weird stuff put me in Barbados, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Hawaii. I'm telling you guys this to encourage you, not to sit here and be like, oh, look what I'm doing. I lived in my car at one point. Like, I used to self-inflict at one point. I had drug issues at one point. My life was the opposite of fun or cool or admirable. No one wanted to be me. No one wanted me around. My family didn't want me around. So just keep in mind, guys, this isn't like, oh yeah, he had it figured out and knew some people. Nah, man, I was under the ground. I was dead, basically, and then I came to here. So truly, you could tell me you want to go build a spaceship and start a new planet, and I'd say, like, when would we depart? I'm riding. Because truly, I feel that anybody can do anything. And if anything, I feel that my struggles are why I'm here. Like, I feel like it gave me some tenacity that I wouldn't have gotten. You meet the guy that got in the car accident. He's like the coolest guy ever. Well, it's because his life flashed before his eyes. Thought he was going to die. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. I'm going to skip through some of this. Like money and pay, good job, bad job. Y'all got to weigh the odds. My only suggestion is just keep moving. Whatever you do after this might not be it. And the story I just told you about ESPN is the epitome of that. I thought a couple years ago we had it all wired. The next thing you know, like COVID. What do you guys think my world looked like during COVID? Dude, I thought it was over. I thought it was over. I was a small business. I called everybody I work with and said, yo boys, I love y'all, but you're on your own. It's like, I got to save this money. Again, growth. We went through the season. It transformed the business. I got stuck in my house. What did I do? Hopped on TikTok. And I found some videos, and these guys are making the dopest, like, product videos, dropping stuff in fish tanks, watches, drinks, whatever. We started doing it. Now we have a whole studio service of our business. So again, the plan for me has never been this. And I think it's way more important that you guys just kind of follow the rabbit hole. Like, oh, I like this. I'm interested in this. You're going to end up one day telling a story where someone's going to be like, oh, how'd you meet them? They're like, oh, I was standing next to this guy at a bar and he liked my shoes. And then we got to the next thing you know, he needed someone. He flew me to Alaska. Like, that's how these relationships happen a lot of times. It's about being prepared. I always say success is when preparation meets opportunity. So you need to be prepared and be out there hustling, but just know at the weirdest moment at the coffee shop, the guy might start that conversation with you. And yes, you need to be prepared for it, but you can't predict when you're going to meet people. Embrace the hustle. For me, I love what I do. I get tired of the grind, especially now that I'm getting older and I have a baby. My priorities are a little bit different, but I don't care what it takes. I'm so in love with what I do. I'll get up early in the morning, stay up late at night. Do try to find something that sets your soul on fire like that, for real. Even if you have to do it for another business, right? Let's say you're not necessarily launching your own business. Dude, just do something that you love. Be around a business that you love, and then kind of see how you can scale up. That would be my recommendation, is if you know for a fact you can't just jump into the dream job tomorrow, get close to it. You know what I mean? Get next to it. And my example is the surf industry. Out of all the sports in the world, I think surfing is the worst one to pick right now for a career. It is the worst one. It is super backwards, messed up, really hard to qualify. The whole thing's a disaster. But as surfers, it's the dream tour, right? That's what little kids that surf think about, how sick, you gotta be on the tour. Well, as you get older, life kind of gives you reality checks. And you have these moments, you're like, well, maybe that's not a reality for me. Well, but maybe you can get close. So I have friends that are chiropractors, that have chosen that they really love health, you know what I mean? But they have derived a path around health and fitness with surfing athletes, and they're working with the World Surf League. They're working with all these events. They're sitting alongside these athletes, and guess what? They're going basically on the tour, but not having the pressure of having to actually qualify. That's the dream, and that's the malleability to do what you love in a little bit different way, right? So I didn't start doing what I loved. I started doing mostly weddings, and and we still do weddings, but I don't go these days because I scaled the business and set up a team to where they could do it the way I want it, and I don't have to be there. But I didn't wake up saying, man, I love filming weddings. I love filming stuff, and they paid me, and I got good at it, and I said, this is my opportunity to get to surfing and all the other stuff. So me and JD, we talk about the swimming pool a lot. That's one of my little things. I say, imagine that we have a swimming pool right here, and I got to fill it, straight up. And if I don't fill it, I'm not getting paid. No one on my team gets paid. I don't care how we fill it, meaning I'm at a point where if we can fill that stupid pool with water with weddings or whatever quicker, that frees us up to go do surfing stuff. So we do a lot of hustling to make sure we do what we love. Example, JD, this is gonna sound crazy because he's gonna have fun, but he's going to Hawaii on Sunday and he's gonna go work for a week, right? Sounds amazing, it is amazing, but hear me out. My people don't care, bro. They got bills to pay. Well, Dalton, you're sending me to Hawaii, let's see, 10 hours a day, $100 an hour, 8 days, travel days, per diem for food. They're gonna break me in half. And guess what? My client doesn't pay me that. So I put a business together that made me have the flexibility to put the right people on the right projects and have people that say, yo, I ain't looking at this as an hourly rate. I'm looking at this as I'm about to go get paid to go to Hawaii for a week, and I'm gonna take that opportunity. So we really do lose money to do what we love. So as long as we fill the swimming pool at the end of the year, we really don't care. So again, this is all flexibility, guys. That's the whole point. Everything I'm telling you is about flexibility. And I don't really think I had a plan with this business other than do what I love and try to make it bigger every year. And that's what we've done. I've got a little breaking point because I will not shut up. I will talk until they kick me out of this room. Does anybody have a question based off of what I've said so far? Anything you guys want me to touch on? So, I mean, yeah, I do believe that my longevity lies in the fact that I never gave up and I stayed consistent more than I was better than other people, if that makes sense. I was using, even down to the camera. I used Nikon for years. Everybody hated Nikon. People are like, dude, you're literally blowing it. Why are you shooting with that? So, and to this day, I had a conversation the other day. In film, we can choose color profiles, okay? There's Rec 709, which is what comes out of everybody's phone in this room. Every GoPro, every Zoom call, it's just vivid, if you will. And then there's log. Imagine log is kind of a washed out black and white, and you can really grade it. You can make it look dark and moody or bright and beautiful. So I've had to explain to my team why we don't shoot log, and they're looking at me like I'm bananas. They're like, what do you mean we don't shoot log? And I explained to them how it junks the process and the clients don't need it in most cases, and that they're focusing on the wrong part of the art. Go be artistic with what you want to do, but go get your money. So the point is, while everyone is all busy saying, no, Dalton, you can't do that. You can't break the shutter rule. You got to have a filter. I'm out getting paid without it. These dudes are so hung up on what they need to go buy. They're so hung up on, can't film today, guys, don't have a filter, can't break the shutter rule, I got to ride. Meanwhile, Dalton's over here with his iPhone and a potato getting it done. So yeah, dude, me being about it was way more important than the skills or equipment I had. So. I had two motivations. One, I found out that I really loved filmmaking. And does anybody know, you guys might be too young, does anybody know the show Rocket Power? God, that hurt. Ow. All right, thank you, boys. For the love of God. Twister is a Grom in the show that films on a camera. And I just remember watching that show thinking it was the coolest thing, dude. They'd go back to the house, they'd be surfing, and everybody would want to look at the footage. So that was a big thing for me. But when I turned 20 and I realized this EMT thing was not really for me, I was just trying to do what my dad did. Mind you, I was in deep trouble, guys. Deep trouble. So when I got out of it and I was filming and people thought it was exciting, my life went from, wow, Dalton, you need to get off probation. You need to get your life together. You need to do this and the other. I was like, my life was all negative. And now all of a sudden, people are like, dude, this is so cool. I want to subscribe to your channel. I want to be a part of the thing. We should go. I want to meet you. You should meet this guy and fly to this place. So I got addicted to that. I got really addicted to just getting away from my life. The last 8 years, 10 years, if you will, have been this thing where, like, I don't know, man, like I'm JD went to Vieira High School and he legitimately did not know me, but knew of my company and watched me and thought to himself, like, I would love to work for these people. And he literally is doing it now. And I'm at the point where I've had guys that worked with me when they were young and now they're out doing crazy stuff. So that's super rewarding for me. It really is. And I guess now my driving force is to see how early can I step away from this dang thing and it still make money and be with my family more. That's my biggest goal right now, is can we get this thing to keep going in quality and scale without me holding every window and door in the house closed? So that's my big motivation right now, is to just keep going and scale it bigger than me. Because I don't want to feel like I've done my job here, but I feel like the foundation, if it was just put out there, there's more to be done than what I can do. Internet, straight up. I remember Cocoa Beach Surf Company, right there by Ron John's. They've got like a little aquarium. I remember I went there one day and I sat down and I sent 2,000 emails. I sent 2,000 emails and I only got, let's call it like 10 or 12 responses, but I bagged 2 of the clients. One of them was Slide Handboards. They paid me $500 a month for couple of years, probably 2 or 3 years. So I didn't make a ton of money, mind you, but if I had like a few people doing $500 a month and I'm living at my mom's house, like we're doing all right. So those people went on to get on Shark Tank and they used my footage and they got funded by Ashton Kutcher. And then Ashton Kutcher started tweeting stuff and posting stuff with my face all over it. And so it's like all those little things really kept going. But early on, it was the willingness to accept less, to just get after it. I didn't care. You know what I mean? I'd sleep in cars. I'd do whatever it took. So I'm not telling you guys go sleep on the floor to get jobs, but the flexibility, and as a person that hires people now, right? The people that show me flexibility, they ride out with me. The people that get all tough with me, and I respect rates, I do. But the people that want to like, my rate's my rate, dog. Yo, later. Because if you want to argue with me over a couple $100 when I'm trying to give you 30 grand a year, you can kick rocks, is the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So flexibility, I think it's super important. Sorry I have such long answers. Anybody else? All right, let me show you guys a video real quick. I don't think you understand what we do yet. That video was cool, but I don't know if you're grasping. Maybe this will entice you.
I don't need to sit at your table. We building one. We in the process of building a table. I'm building my own table, and I will build you a table in the presence of your enemies. Your problem, you still at the bottom. You pissed because they didn't give you an award. Award for what? I get an award every night when I go to bed. I hear God say, well done. I see what you're doing, son. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. I don't need their award.
That was Mozart. Sorry, I didn't know you wrote that. I didn't. That was Mozart. That was Mozart. Sorry, I didn't know you wrote that. I didn't. That was Mozart.
That video is pretty sick. I watch that, it reminds me of how much I love what I do. Did you guys enjoy that? Yeah. That was a fraction of what we did last year. Like when I do that video, it's kind of like writing the paper the night before it's due. I'm like, oh man, tomorrow's the 31st. I gotta bang this thing out. Again, that video is cool because there's a lot of rad stuff in it, but what the dopest part is that we are the curators of what we do. Because we went and made something that we're in control of, we get to move the lever and be in charge. So I've got a couple more things to jump into. Anybody got any questions? If anything, I've just got like kind of the tail end of this. So I remember Steve Harvey had this video a few years ago, and when he would end all of his shows, he would talk to the audience about what he had on the brain. He'd leave them with like a motivational thought, right? So this one video, it was about the jump. And his concept was that if you're over here on the edge and you're at your current world, and specifically he's talking about getting after it, starting a business, changing your life, a big change. If you go like this and you kind of keep a tippy toe, you're never gonna make it. You asked me like what kept me going. I was skydiving. It was non-negotiable. I jumped. I highly implore you guys to make the decision to jump and not focus on the results, because that's really not what's important. I'm not old, but I'm getting older. I'm at the point where I'm like, dang, bro, I'm like reflecting on stuff. Truly, what has mattered the most, like in those videos, it's me traveling, meeting people, the opportunities, the conversations. So just make sure that when you guys do this, you jump in wholeheartedly, because people feel it. Trust me, I will tell you right now, one of the biggest questions I get is like, dude, how do I pitch? How do I get someone's attention? How do I get them to give me their money? Trust. You have to get them to trust you. Because I'm tenacious and loud and energetic and passionate, they feel it. They get so excited, they can't get their wallet out quick enough because they want to be involved so bad. It's to the point to where it's like, not can they get the job done, they literally forget they're giving us their money, it feels like, because it's exciting. It's the process. So I think the how you do things is more important than what you actually do. And I know I told you something similar too. But yeah, just really, you never look back. Hesitation absolutely kills. I see people start businesses and they don't have a long-term plan. And I don't think you have to have it like fully blueprinted out, but you do have to have like a general idea of what you want to do. Because as much as I think I've been winging it, I have been very goal-oriented. Like I'm constantly aware of what I want to do next. I definitely get better. And like this is the year that I've been able to really focus on things. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. So when you guys are young, pick the thing that you want the most. That's what I would recommend. So going the route that I did, a lot of people have something to say about my business as far as like the amount of things that we do. Like I've never really met a filmmaker that's like, dude, do everything for sure. Do weddings, do commercials, do aviation, do scuba diving. It's a great idea. Well, it's actually a terrible idea on paper. It's all expensive. You know what I mean? They're all specialties. But like, I don't look at it as the like jack of all trades or master of one. I don't look at it like that. The way I look at it is when I have an opportunity to learn a new skill, like why would I not? I'm not gonna be great at it at first. So I showed you guys that community credit union video, right? In 2 weeks from right now, I'm speaking at the King Center to 1,500 students. Rewind 1 year, okay, 1 year, I did that. The team, our team, documents it. And we do this thing called live switching. So right now, these are being written to SD cards. We're gonna go home, we're gonna manually edit these later, right? When you do a panel and you have like 8 cameras for 2 hours, you can't do that. It's too much. So what you do is you have a switcher and every camera comes in, you have a director who's literally like when you're watching TV, they're manually switching the cameras as it's happening, right? 2 weeks before that event, there's 1,000 kids speaking and I'm on the panel. I'm speaking on stage. I can't even help my team. I signed them up for disaster and was like, later, I'll be on the stage. I bought us a switcher 2 weeks before the event. We'd never even used one. We had no idea what we were doing. And I don't even know. They lied to me. They didn't tell me if they were nervous or not. But I was on YouTube every day and I got it dialed. I sat there in my house with 8 cameras and did it. The point is that, was it scary? For sure. Could we have blown it? I mean, possibly, but I did my due diligence to get us set up. Since then, we've done, I think, 2 or 3 surf contests. We're doing the community credit union again this year. And with that knowledge, we've now learned how to use some AI technology to where we don't even switcher. I'm doing my podcast. I don't even need the switcher anymore. It was all about a risk, right? I jumped into something that we weren't offering, and now it's a whole new division of what we do. So opportunity is everywhere, and I've spoken to 6th graders, I've spoken to some college students at Full Sail. I think you guys are at like literally the most important age to absorb this information, because like y'all could be making any kind of money that you want and doing any kind of job that you want in a handful of years. You guys are like right at the cusp of the craziest technology content explosion I've ever seen in my life. And there's so much opportunity right now. And the cool thing is you'll hear this in my industry. You'll hear this in the music industry. 20 years ago, you couldn't just become an artist and then just hop out and make money and reach a worldwide audience. Now you can. A filmmaker. You used to go back 20, 30 years and ask these guys what doing commercials was like. They weren't hiring Steve, the 16-year-old that knows how to do dope iPhone transitions in Viera. Now they might be. That's crazy. So you got to see how much the world has changed to where if you can get it done, I don't really think people are asking questions about where you're from or what your qualifications are anymore. At least that's just my observation. Like, and it's funny because like, it's kind of like, I don't think you guys are this age yet, but it's kind of like when you turn 21 and like they don't even ask your ID. And you're like, what the hell? That's pointless. So it's like we go into places and I think we're going to need stuff and we don't. You know what I mean? It's just the work we've done stands for it. So, yeah, man, my closing thoughts here are that you really have to just have patience. That's the biggest thing. Everybody's gonna ask me questions about like how did I make money? What was my business plan? I never really had one other than being like just wholeheartedly invested in doing it. And that is why I got all those opportunities. So, all right, questions. What do you guys got? Shoot.
Does this ever become like overwhelming?
Overwhelming, yeah, it does. And I believe that there's people in this room that have no business owning a business. And then I believe that there's people in this room that the only business they should be partaking in is owning a business. So I would not do great working for any of you. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I can't, dude, I can't. However, when I go to ESPN, I'm no longer big dog. I'm literally one ant in a hill. And I've come to enjoy it. Not just because I'm not getting yelled at. I will admit, it's kind of nice that when things hit the fan, I'm just like, not my problem. But I've also come to enjoy the teamwork. You know what I mean? Just being a part of something bigger than me. But when it comes to running your own business, it sucks when somebody else does something and it might not be your fault, but it is your problem. Less than a month ago, and it ebbs and flows. It's like life. You know how like you have your life together, but then some days you're just like, I quit. It's just like that, but it's more. because, you know, you're depending on the scale of your business, you're not just responsible for you, you're responsible for this whole team. And so, yeah, and you have to weigh the pros and cons, right? So for me, having control of my life, being able to really decide, like, you know, tomorrow we're going to Beach and Boards Fest. If I decide I don't want to go, or if I don't feel good, I don't have to go. That is everything. You know what I mean? So it does come with a lot of opportunity cost, but I think it's worth it when you're built for it.
So you talked about opportunity cost. Another thing I was curious about, when you're doing your entrepreneurship thing, you read a lot of books where it's like people put so much time and effort into the business, and you talk a lot about family. How do you manage those two things separately and put a lot of time into family while simultaneously dealing with the business?
Well, I played my role in a relationship not working out. I was almost married, and I had to mature with my life and ask myself honest questions. Did my career and my life play a role in it? And I think it did, because I was a young kid and I was still figuring it out. And I will tell you with a straight face that during that relationship, I said that my business and what I'm doing is law. And I say that today in my household, but quite different. You know what I mean? It takes a ton of teamwork. And I will say this, if you guys are not in a relationship, if you are not married and you want to start a business, do know that there are stipulations on both ends when you do get into one. Because you do have to make really hard decisions. So ESPN, right? I get that opportunity. It's just like, hey, come to Vegas and try it. Well, we come home, and we're now part of their team full time. So when you're there, it's like a family. So during the fight we're at, everyone's like, oh, next week in this place. They're talking about the next week. So when we were in Vegas, we noticed they were all talking about New York City. They were going to Madison Square Garden. And me and JD know we're not going. So we come home, and we were like, man, wouldn't that be cool? I'm in Lowe's, and my phone rings. I looked down, and I saw it, and I went like this. And Madison had already seen it. Dude, we didn't even have to have a conversation. She was pissed. She already knew. They're flying me somewhere else. What the conversation ended up being is, how can we make this work together? And what we agreed on is that the money I'm making at ESPN, and it's not just how much money, it's the fact that the job ends when I leave. That's very rare for production. Like if I go shoot your business, I might be stuck with you for 6 months. It's long. It's a lot of time. So when I go to ESPN and I come home, it's done. So we've decided I need to go to every single fight possible. Tired, whatever. I skipped some. I just brought the baby to one. That was the coolest thing ever. I stuck her on the ESPN desk. It was awesome. But it is a team thing. But the point is that I made the decision as a business owner that my time, I need to go to ESPN. I have to be there. And it's not even like, oh, well, I'd like to be there. No, it's like, dude, I'm still building this thing, this like little giant world over there. So with that extra income, right, I'm not doing a lot of the petty stuff. And I say petty respectfully. There's levels to this stuff, right? Wouldn't it be weird to see the CEO of Apple out front doing the trash? Yeah, it'd be weird. It's not that he's too good for it. He's got stuff to do. So I've decided that it helps me focus on these big things. And then kind of like, I need to let go of the leash, honestly. I'm too addicted to my business and it makes me step away. So that was one of the big turning points for us, is that I had to choose my family and my business. And we met in the middle. We made ground rules and we made a plan, and it's been working great. But I feel like family should be important to everybody, right? That's why I feel like it's a topic we all have to touch on. So, anybody else?
When you're trying to determine who to hire, what's your process for that? Like, how do you choose people?
Stoke factor.
Oh, I got a second question. No.
Yeah, I'm not, it sounds funny, but stoke factor. Put Trevor on blast, freaking G-Easy here in the back. Trevor's young, he's like, what are you, 18, Trevor? 19? So, I don't know if this one's working, but check. There we go. Yeah, so anyways, I want people that are stoked to be here. I've got a lot of people that are like, I know my rate, and this is what I do. And dude, it's just like, I sacrificed so much and I hustled so hard. I hate when people come in. Now, don't get me wrong, dude, you got the sauce and it's like insane, like for sure, I'll respect that. But some of these kids, dude, I won't say names, but we had a kid recently, yo, his stuff ain't there. It ain't there. And he pulled up and blew it and then tried to bang me with an invoice. And I'm super respectful. I don't argue. There's no point. I'm not going to educate you on how I run my operation. But what I said is that you're not going to be able to be a part of my program with what you're delivering in your rates, straight up. So for me, you need to be qualified, right? So I'm at this level where I'm breaking my own rules because I said I don't want to train people anymore, yet here I am bringing people in to train them. The reason is because I've got enough quality people going to the main jobs. I'm not training people to go out to work tomorrow. I've got a problem with media. I've got reels and I need to make my podcast edits and it's a nightmare. So I'm letting these people work on these other things that we need done, right? That I have to invest in. If they do good, we teach them more. We teach them more. We offer more opportunities. We pay them more. So we have a young girl working for us right now. She's not even, she's still young. She's like 26. She has like 0 skills as far as production. Like she has a tiny little camera and she knows how to use iMovie. This girl is like bleeding out the eyes with excitement to work for us. Like she's freaking losing it. And she pulls up early. She stays late. She asks me if I could send her footage so she can edit stuff. I told her yesterday, I was like, bro, you're gonna have a job here in like 6 months if you keep this up. You know what I mean? So I get stuck with, I don't wanna say stuck, but like, dude, I gotta go sit with these guys on an airplane and in a car. And like, I'm like an anxiety kind of travel guy. I travel all the time, but every day when I go on a plane there, I get a little, you know, I don't want to be around people that make me not feel good. So I hate to say it, man, but like who you are and how you handle stress is what I look for the long term. You know, I hire talented people for like day offs, but when it comes to like hiring someone as the crew, you've got to be able to fit in, you know? And I feel like every business has that to an extent, you know what I mean? You can't have like a kink in the chain.
Can we give Dalton a round?